Well,
they're kind of all over the place with that, though.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. You know, they have the research, evidently, so they can find the people who were active, inactive, who competed and who didn't. It's just, there's another thing that's been crossing my mind lately. As much as I hate to say it, whether he deserves or not, whether it's favoritism or politics, the head CEO has to be in there because he raised the element of wrestling to the dead ages, brought it into the modern era, brought in competition. Whether he cleaned everybody out, hey, that's up for debate. It'd been him, it'd have been somebody else. I feel he needs to be in there within the next 5 years or immediately after his death. Got a few ideas of how come the Road Warriors? That's another one. They're way overdue.
Well, I'm glad you're bringing up tag team because right now,
there are no tag teams.
There's no tag teams, and even in the Hall of Fame, they're not really glorifying the tag teams at all. There's a lot of tag teams that are not in the Hall of Fame that should be. I mean,
Steiners.
Absolutely.
You're talking about the Steiners. You're talking about LOD. You're talking about Demolition. You're talking about the Powers of Pain. A lot of these wrestlers that are forgotten, and how great they were.
Exactly. How about Anderson and Blanchard, first team to hold NWA and WWF tag titles? Mm-hmm. How come they're not in?
The Brainbusters.
Exactly. Horsemen, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They're way overdue. It's like you're only as good as your last match, and if nobody's out there, I blame whoever runs it is not doing a good enough job. I know you got to please everybody, but do they really think we're that stupid? We've only been watching the stuff, I don't know, the last 10, 15 years, and you don't have to be hindsight's 2020. You can pretend to ignore, but these were the people that paid your bills, pet the seats in the house, whether they were the first of the card, last of the card, or the close bout. Everybody's accountable the way I see it, whether you were a jobber, whether, how come referees aren't being acknowledged either? Ring announcers from the past. I can name up one in particular, Jimmy Lennon Sr., who did boxing and wrestling at the Olympic Auditorium.
Yeah,
Hall of Fame
I'm gonna nominate Lillian Garcia for all her f-ups that she's been doing a lot lately.
I'm glad they got Mean Gene in there.
You know what? She's harmless compared to the other Nimrods they have in there. She makes music and she puts on a happy face. I have seen worse.
Yeah. Okay. So next year, 2010. You got to really put over the Hall of Fame this year. It's 2010. It's one of the iconic years that I've grown up knowing that everything was going to be flying cars and a futuristic kind of type atmosphere. This is 2010 Hall of Fame. Right. Who are your nominees? Who should be in there right now?
Right off the top of my bat, Antonio Inoki, Bruno Sammartino, Dynamite Kid, Jimmy Lennon Sr. Let me think. Who else? Bad News Brown for his contributions. Ken Patera was one of the first Olympians to go, and for a fact was the first and only man to hold a WWF title and an NWA title at the same time, Intercontinental and a Missouri State title. See, we forget our territory.
What about Ron Simmons?
Absolutely, first black world heavyweight champion, way overdue. But we'll remember him for his stupidity mark of damn. Yeah. And the politics that he had to deal with. It was Bill Watts that pushed for him to be world champion.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't have a black world champion in the South. Bullshit. It had it done. But we're too busy glorifying, other people that didn't really push anything to the company. The $1 Million Man, he was WWF champion for 2 weeks. Held a multiple television title, the first ever North American WWF title. How come he's not in there? Great technical wrestler. Well, what's the story on that?
Well, that title hold, with the $1 Million Man, that was kind of a controversial kind of type thing, and he's not recognized as ever being a WWE champion.
That is the company's misdoing, because right now you look on the internet and there are 3 uncrowned recognized champions. Antonio Inoki beat Backlund for the title in Japan, only to get it back a week later. Bobby Duncan, Greg Valentine. So from what Virgil had told me when I met many years ago, he was recognized as WWF champion for 2 weeks. Held and made a title defense at a house show at Sports Arena against Don Morocco. So evidently, he was, or if he wasn't. Now, certain magazines, if you look, you will see him strapped with a big Wing Eagle belt.
Well, yeah. That was for the whole controversy thing, but unfortunately, house shows are not aired.
And never say never. They're videotaped. It's just whether they choose to air them or not.
What about Owen Hart? Owen Hart won the world title from Brett at a house show.
That's up for debate. Yeah, he's long overdue. Multiple title holder, King of the Ring. Good technical wrestler. Nothing against him at all. One of the finest Intercontinental champions. Way overdue. It's been 10 years. It's insulting. You got to, whether he died or not, he existed and played an intricate part in the company. Should be in the Hall of Fame without a shadow of a doubt.
All right. Let's end it on this. We're thinking about SummerSlam.
Okay.
And what are the champions right now? Okay, you got CM Punk and Jeff Hardy. We all know the rumors are Jeff Hardy. This is his last pay-per-view. He's done after this.
I'll give you my opinion. Good riddance. Joy TNA.
Oh,
goodbye.
man.
You are a glorified jobber who back in the 80s would have made it on a third match. Okay? I don't know what's going on in his head, but he should be grateful for everything he got and the push that he had.
What do you think?
Okay.
What do you think about Dolph Ziggler and the Rey Mysterio rematch?
Going to be interested in that one. I'm starting to like Ziggler. He reminds me of a lot of people from the past. Jarrett, Luger, Hennig, that sort of thing. Good dexterity, good all-around moves. I see him U.S. champion by the time Royal Rumble. That's my honest opinion on that one.
And what do you think about Kofi Kingston?
I don't know what they're going to do with him. He just seems like a team player to me.
I think, Ray, let me ask you
That's
this.
what I've been saying, man. What are they going to do with this guy?
They really don't know, and that's the only reason why he's holding on to that belt.
You've got a superstar that they're not using.
They're not really using, and they don't know what to do with him.
Okay, here's the thing. Whoa, somebody's lighting firecrackers. So, quit sneezing. Anyways, the bottom line, it's bad booking, bad writers. You need to get rid of the soap opera writers and get a good legendary booker who knows what they're doing, that knows how to push these guys. Problem, it's just, what are you going to do in an overstuffed market?
And what are you going to?
Well, I mean, what are you going to? You got three separate organizations in one eggshell. What are you going to do? I mean, what are his possibilities? He keeps the title, drops the title. Who can give him? Who can bring the best out of him?
What do you think can on Raw?
I think The Miz.
I believe so.
I think so. I think they can have a good run, but it's got to be something climatic because people are not going to be interested in that. It's going to be.
I think The Miz. I think Jack Swagger. I think, I
think if you're going to give a big one, I think it's Chavo.
I was just about to say Chavo Guerrero.
I got mixed emotions about that. I'd rather see Jack Swagger get a title push than Chavo Guerrero.
Why not Chavo?
He doesn't spark interest.
That's exactly what I've been saying.
Yeah,
you can't find him as a personality.
It's the Hornswoggle.
He can wrestle better than most of the people in that roster right now, but his personality just kills him.
Yeah, because he's been messing around for 7 weeks in a row with Hornswoggle, which is cancer in the WWE. And anything that gets sucked in that vortex, I mean, you kind of get lost with that character, and that's what's going to happen.
I'm going to tell you right now. We all know wrestling is one big melting pot full of gimmicks. I blame the company for not bringing at least 6 or 4 other midgets to give Hornswoggle a run. Bring back the midget championship. If we're going to recognize this guy as a competitor,
no, please get rid of this dude, man.
Gone.
Why can't he be in the back shining people's boots before they come out to the ring? Because I'm tired of this guy, man.
I'm almost feeling kind of bad because Eugene should have got a couple of weeks in with Hornswoggle.
And Eugene can wrestle 10 times better than that.
I mean, we all know wrestling's one big gimmick. It's entertainment. Otherwise, we wouldn't be watching it. The bottom line, the way I see it, they can do something. They choose not to. They'd rather make an ass out of themselves using them as a damn novelty act, and it's going to get lame.
Well, I got a question for you then. Because I've been trashing the Hollywood thing on Raw for the longest. Do you like it? Do you agree with it?
You know what? I haven't seen it to pay much attention to it. What can you tell me about it?
Well, they got all these superstars, and they had Shaq, they had Freddie Prinze Jr., they had ZZ Top.
These guys are looking to do something. ZZ Top I have nothing against with. He contributes music and helps them out. Freddie Prinze Jr., I'm like, okay, you're boring. Shaq, he's got a reality show coming out. So, whatever they plan to do.
But do you think this is good for Raw? Do you think this is good for wrestling, that they have to use these superstars to push their product? Do you think that? Yeah, but they've been doing that on main events or big shows like WrestleMania stuff. But on their everyday, every week show, do you think that helps? Do you think that are they going backwards or forward with this?
I think that there's a conspiracy theory going on. And
I think it's a deadlock. They don't know what to do. They need outside interest to generate for their show.
And do you think that's going to hurt them in the long run, or is that going to help them in the long run?
It depends on those who want to pay attention to it or just choose to ignore it. I'll choose to ignore it because, hey,
that's what I was just about to ask you.
You're not in that ring. You're not covering my skills. You're just another ticket buyer who had 15 minutes of fame, and evidently you're not doing anything to uproot yourself. So you're like, boring.